Hello everyone, this is Serious Trivia, and welcome back to another match of Group A Round 1 action here in our subscriber game tournament with match number 3 between Will Be Deed and ShogunMet. Now this will be ShogunMet's first match, while Will Be Deed already have a win in the bag with his earlier win over Odin Wrath, but it is still early and everything is still up for grabs, so let's see how things went here. And looking at the general selections here, Will Be Deed in the green went with a very similar general selection with Gongdu, Xu Huang, and now Zhang Jiao. This is the one change that he did implement, and because Zhang Jiao's presence giving the Messenger of Heaven cavalry, Xu Huang is no longer the general he is recruiting his lance cavalry on, so no shot cavalry here, but we still have a good amount of Messenger of Heaven. We have a Huanglao Paragon on top of that for good damage, and we have some very high quality infantry. So we have Protector of Heaven, as well as the Northern Veteran Infantry. So a solid lineup there. He reduced the number of horseback huntsmen, which is good because they are just really there for a little bit of fire and morale hit. Can't really do much. I guess you could harass with them, but you can easily ignore that. Then looking at ShogunMet, who is taking on his first match for the tournament, we have Xu Huang. So once again, a mirror matchup. The only Sentinel with Vanguard abilities, Unbreakable, definitely a very good choice. We also have Huang Fusong, who is bringing his unique units here in the Defender of the Empire, Unbreakable Spear Guards. Not really strong offensively, but can hold forever because they are unbreakable and they will fight to death. But more importantly, Huang Fusong has his Hail of Arrow ability, which is very impactful, very high damage. You can totally snipe out some generals with that ability, and we'll see if he can use that well. And he rounds his army up with Lu Bu. Very powerful, very good abilities, and also he went with, I think they're the Flying Riders. Those are decent cavalry options. Could have gone with cheaper option perhaps and get more units, but 3 is a decent number. Just running up into 4 Messenger of Heaven, so it might be a little bit imbalanced there. The Qingzhou Assault Infantry, also a good choice, and we do have the polearm units, which could fight off those Messenger of Heaven in the late game. So we'll see how this one plays out on the battlefield, and let's take a look. So looking at deployment here, nothing funny. Lu Bu's kind of in front. I think he's hidden, or else there's no reason for him to be this far forward. It's not a good idea to fight with your generals apart. You want to stick them together. You can see the generals being hidden over here. Nice normal formation, nothing too crazy. Let's see how this one plays out. As both sides take stock of what they're up against, cavalry moving forward. No one has any real range, so there's no pressure for anyone to close the gap. The harassment could start, but firing fire arrows inside the forest, you run into the risk of burning yourself. So you have to be careful there. Spreading things out. No one's in a rush to move their infantry. I guess with Zhang Jiao on your team, you could be more aggressive given that he doesn't mind dying, as we can activate our final ability here, Lord of Heaven, once he does die. That's a very nice bonus. I don't like how spread out the generals are. Certainly, you could try to look for a Hail of Arrow snipe, or maybe just use the bow for some damage, but with what's here, that might be a bad idea. Small harassment. Lu Bu can actually try to pick this off. Lu Bu is strong enough to fight off these units, and you can also use Dragon Gaze to lock them down and then charge the cavalry. Those archers aren't going to even tickle him. So as long as he gets into combat, yes, they are frozen in place. Great play. They're still far away to not interfere. The cavalry should really be closing in right here. He's not hitting them. He froze them. There we go. See if we can get a smash ability in. And ooh, badly placed, but still got the ability off. Try to hit this one with the roar plus the Flame of Phoenix. We should be able to, yeah, the overcharge on the unit and bad placement. You should charge in and then see where they are, maybe potentially let them charge back before using it. Rushing it has really no purpose, but the morale impact from the roar is good enough. It will wear off, so you want to chase them so that they can't bounce back. Seems like they're doing that perfectly. And 2 units are just going to be picked off like this. Very efficient. And here comes the Messenger of Heaven. They're not as boosted because of the army composition, so no crazy speed, and Lu Bu with the red hair could outrun that. These 2 units do get to slip, but the damage is done. They're not going to be that useful going forward. Cavalry show up to cover, just to get the generals out. Honestly, at this point, the infantry should be able to move up, or perhaps Huang Fusong can look to go do some damage with his hail of arrows. Xu Huang's getting run down. Well, that is not good. And now the hesitation to rescue him. You know, he can honestly slip out if you just change direction here. This is a big investment into a fight that's not favorable. I'm not sure if Lu Bu coming back and freezing this would do any good. Committing your units to a very bad fight. He got the smash in to kill off a good chunk of those horses. Zhang Jiao could counter with this. 25 morale back. Seems like they're opting away from that. This is a bad commit if they're going to use the ability and run afterwards. They have dismounted, so getting out is good, but the unit not getting out is bad. They can opt to pick off some of these cavalry. Honestly, the units could come over. There is no purpose that they need to stay there. It's not like you're protecting anything with this formation. There's no range unit. Everyone could fight. Lu Bu's going to come back in and get some damage down. Or not. Opting away from the fight. Zhang Jiao is very brave, because Zhang Jiao doesn't mind getting killed. Oh, that is a bad target selection. 1, it's very far. 2, he has 80% armor. And most of this damage, or actually entire damage, is going to be base damage. So you want to hit people with low armor, or else you're only doing 20% of the damage, and that's just really a waste. At that distance too, you don't get the spread. The messengers are winning the fight against the cavalry. It's just a numbers game. They have twice the number, so in a 2v2 here, they can easily win because they have double the amount of units. And we're still fighting without our 3rd general for some reason. No dismounting, but Lu Bu is getting focus. And he shows up with a separate command. The units are coming, but why not engage? Why stay away? Because they're so much closer that they can apply their numbers. He's just trying to move. Now for ShogunMet here in the red, losing all the cavalry is going to be very bad. Now coming back in with the generals after the units die. He's trying to get off a shot. He got disrupted. You can see the animation go off, but the shot did not go off. He got bumped before he was able to use his ability. Yeah, the infantry has to get involved here. But now these cavalry are never going to get caught, and they have free reign to harass. The Qingzhou Assault Infantry will be their target. We do get the enemy generals inside the infantry formation. That is good. Now you kind of want to commit the fight. The generals are just not joining in. It's a little bit disjointed. It could be different hotkeys, where the generals are just not getting microed when they're microing the unit, and so forth. Ignore the damage. That doesn't really matter. This can be very dangerous. Being on red hair, having the speed. If there's a gap, they could just mass dismount and kill him. Or just turn around. It's 3v1 right now. Overextended. And this is not a good fight for him. That hit, and that was a big chunk. He's trying to use his ability. Xu Huang's getting distracted. And he can't find a target. They're moving too fast. And there might be a lot of friendly fire when they do find a target. This is not good. I canceled it. Yeah, once again, the horseback huntsman becomes a really juicy distraction. Now Huang Fusong's getting picked off, and the generals are finding their own targets in random places. I don't understand the idea behind this. Alright, Xu Huan I think is coming back. He's still trying to use his ability. Liu Bu is picking some very bad fights. He's wasting health on targets he doesn't really need to. The general fight is not over, and instead of deal with these Messenger of Heaven, which could chunk generals as charge damage does go through evasion. Did we land something? One shot. The other did not come out, and he's getting chunked right back. The evasion's activated a little bit slow, but still will save him. Liu Bu also got the bonus, but they're just not fighting back. They're just getting poked, and then they pull away, and then now we have a good place where they're dismounted, stuck in infantry. This is when the general should come back. Yes, there we go. And they need to focus on Gongdu right here, or Xu Huang. They're fighting on Xu Huang, alright, but it's not going well. And Huang Fusong still on the outskirts, trying to... he routed. Liu Bu just was too low. I mean, this was an ideal situation, where you got them inside your infantry, but the health was already not even there. And it seems like a lot of the damage is going on Zhang Jiao for some reason, which... it's just a bad target selection. Because that's the one target you absolutely don't want to kill right now. Xu Huang's gonna die here. Ooh. He dodged both, but still got smashed at the end. They still have two fresh Protector of Heavens coming in. Huang Fusong, they stalled this group here. And it's just the generals. Now the generals should probably back out, because there's no reason for them to take this damage against the defenders. He shot it into the Protector. Decent damage, but at this point the problem is, how are we going to solve the three generals? He comes in, give them a small boost, goes out, try to wait for maybe one last of arrows. If he can get to that point, I see a lot of Flame of the Phoenix. And, yep, those infantry are going to get slaughtered. They're unbreakable, so they will last a while. And Huang Fusong should die here, at least rout. I'm going to shoot into their back, just for a little bit of morale damage on a unit that doesn't really care about morale. But there's really nothing this unit could do at this point. Yeah, given the army composition, Xu Huang never needed to chase after the horseback huntsman. They had the enemy generals close to the infantry and didn't really get to do damage. It gets worse. If Zhang Jiao dies, these units get 1 minute of invincibility. Yeah, just getting a couple of smash abilities in, pull them out, wait for cooldown, rinse and repeat, and it's just going to be a cleanup job right now. Zhang Jiao's a very interesting pick. I mean, Messenger Heaven, super strong unit for its value, very cheap. Obviously, if you have a lot of good shock cavalry, you can't beat it. If you get them in a fight against Defender of Empire, you can beat it. But Zhang Jiao can fight and be a madman, because killing him doesn't really benefit you. Alright, they cleaned up over here. Another round of Flame of the Phoenix. Be a little patient here, take a look at where your unit is. If you like the location, then activate the ability. Kind of the mistake against those cavalry. Ooh, Xu Huang is just chunking units. Alright, that's it. Couple more left, 2. Gongdu does quick work of that one, and we have ourselves a victory. So I think it does come down to general usage. Once again, a little bit of experience difference between the two players. Keeping your generals together, fighting with your infantry, and also knowing which target to go after. Let's take a look at the damages. And not surprisingly, the generals cleaned up. They have to have super high kill numbers because they had to kill every single one of those Defender of Empire, usually units route before that. The Chinjo infantry, or the infantry overall, just basically didn't get to do much. They never really fought the enemy units directly until it was kind of over. They still have a lot of cavalry to deal with, so I can't imagine them having a great time. Most of them got killed with smash ability by enemy generals. So the general versus general fight was the key factor. Using key abilities like Hail of Arrows properly was a key factor. Dragon Gaze was used pretty well. I think stalling those two cavalry units early on was good, but misuse of the smash ability on both Lu Bu and Xu Huang definitely was a little bit inefficient. If they were placed better, then those cavalry units probably would have been gone by then. And then once the fighting got started, it felt like Huang Fusong was just being used for Hail of Arrows. He wasn't really being considered used as a general for fighting, which is a big mistake. And then Xu Huang went off to chase after some, cavalry unit that can get maybe 11 kills max. It's not really important, and ended up seeing the death of Lu Bu. And then it was pretty much over at that point, as Wilby D was able to keep his generals together and continue to chunk away the remaining two. And then in the end, just had to do a bit of cleanup. I think having Xu Huang caught out of position early on, where they had to throw the few flying riders and the one lance cavalry at those 4 messenger of heaven, was very costly because they were trying to rescue Xu Huang, who were kind of caught out of position. The infantry never really made a move toward the area. I think it's definitely a little bit of micro difference with the units. Not saying Wilby D did a great job with his infantry, because they showed up super late too, but he's especially just focused on the generals and the cavalry and kind of turned that into a victory. So a good overall match, and there are 2 more today, so see you guys then. Bye!